Solid principle. Here we will discuss about the solid principle as well as we will see the real life example as well as we will also look into the code what we write. Is it in a solid principle or no? So what exactly is solid principle? Solid principle has a four object oriented principle which is easy to maintain and extend. So the solid principle is the S stands for the single responsibility. A class should have only one responsibility. Open, reason to change. Open, close principle. Software entries should be open for the extension but closed for the modification. Discuss substitution principle. Object of the child should be replaced object of the parent class without breaking the program. Interface segregation. A client should be the force depend on method they do not use. Prefer me is small interface over the big interface. And dependency inversion principle. This is the high level module should be depend upon the abstraction, not the calculated level. This is the complete definition about the solid principle. In one line, if I say the solid principle, a class have only one responsibility. Open, close, open for extension, close for the modification. List the substitution. That is the uh, parent class should be replaced by the child class. Interface segregation, there should be not we should not create the big interface, we should create a small interfaces. Dependency inversion principle, high level modules should always depend upon the abstract class. Let's discuss all the points. Single responsibility principle, as I said that the class should have only one reason to change or only one responsibility in a class. So you can see here there is a user class in that a save user as well as a send email. Two methods are there, right? But this is not the single responsibility principle. A good responsible principle, a good solid responsible principle have only one responsibility, like class user have a string name, right? And user repository from where we can save the user. Email service, there will only email method will be there. So our class have only one responsibility. You can see here the class email service have only email related things are there. A user repository from there we can save the user. So each class you can see the user class have used to save the user data, the email class have used to save the email related things. So a class should have only one responsibility, not more than one. Open for extension, closed for modification means like here you can see the class discount and get discount. Student is that if type is student, then return the value 0.2 and 20%, and if a student is regular, then return zero point 0.1 means 10% discount. So this is not the proper way. You should create the discount interface there where you can define what is the discount, right? So here you can see I am creating the I discount. That is a double into get discount is there. Once we are inheriting the student discount, I discount interface. So what will happen? It will call this method, right? Here you can see public double discount, get discount. We need to call this method in that discount because we are inheriting the interface I discount. So get discount 20%. Regular discount, get the we are inheriting the I discount. So here you can say a regular discount is 10%. I will also explain with good examples are there later on my slide. So keep watching. List the substitution principle. List the substitution principle means class should replace by the parent class without breaking the behavior. Means there is a class has a virtual void e and sparrow is the bird. Public override once we are a virtual class means we are overriding it. So what will happen? It will use the void e. The sparrow bird will eat, right? Here you can see class penguin bird, public white fly. Here, the class fly is not applicable for because penguin cannot fly, right? So a class should have a method which should be replaced without the breaking the functionality. If we are using the fly method inside here, then this fly method will not applicable for the penguin. So in the bird, it should be a class should be replaced with the parent class without breaking the functionality. Means we will explain later. Let's discuss with another point that is the interface segregation. Interface segregation principle do not force to class to implement method it doesn't use like interface I worker, void work, void it, and where about we are saying interface segregation means a small interface we are using. In the interface, there are the two methods we are writing. One is the work and another is the is. So separate it. Interface I works, void work, interface I eat, void eat. Public class robot, I work, we can use. So here, this is not the good way, but this is the good way. We are segregating all the interface into small pieces. That is the interface segregation methods are there. Dependency inversion principle. Dependency inversion principle depend upon the abstract class, not the concrete class, right? So here you can see a class cars, private engine, new engine, good interface is there. Interface I engine, void start, class engine, I engine, void start, and the class car, I engine, public car, I engine, test dot engine. We are little bit confusing, but yes, I will explain all these things here. S stand for single responsibility, one responsibility. O stand for the extend do not modify. L is the subtype must be the usual as a base type, and I is the small host interface, and D is the dependency of the abstract. In one line, I can say single response. S stand for the single response. All class have only one responsibility. O stand for open for extension and close for the modification. As for listed substitution, means a class should be replaced with their parent class without existing, without changing their functionality. I stand for interface segregation means all the interface should be a small interface. We should not create the big interface. Dependency inversion principle. D is for the all the all the by big class should be depend upon the abstract method, right? Now here is the good examples which I was talking you earlier that you can see here a single responsibility a class should have only one region to change. Here you can see a class invoice have a calculate in invoice void calculate public void save data. Here we are calculating as well as saving the data in the invoice only. So this is not good logic. One class doing a business log is plus database work. That is not good. What we have to do, we should create a class invoice, public voice calculate total. This is the way we can invoice. What invoice represents the public void save database. So invoice value we can save from here. Here you can see the class have only one responsibility, right? Or the class which was using the two methods inside a class. This is not the good way. Only what we have to do in a class, only one responsibility, right? This is the open for extension and close for modification. This is the O. You can see a class area calculator. If shape is circle, if shape is rectangle, return zero. This is not the good way. What we have to write, abstract shape and public abstract double area. Now, if class circle will inherit the abstract class shape, public void radius, public double radius, and public override double area. So we are inheriting the shape in the circle, so need to call that abstract double area. So we are overriding public override double area, and this is the circle. So 3.14 into radius. This is the area of the circle. Now again, same thing we are calling here in rectangle. The shape we are inheriting that class open for extension, right? So what we are doing here, we are inheriting the shape. Here public void width and height and override double area and width into height. So here what we are doing, we are using open for extension, close for modification. If we want to extend, we can also extend rectangle. We can also extend for the square. We can extend for the cylinder as well. Anything, any shape we can in extend, but we are not. There is no need to modify, right? But here, if you see, then it need to modify. So this is the open for modification here, but open for the extension, close for the modification. This is the open close. Discuss substitution. Discuss substitution. As you can see, public virtual fly, and then we are using the bird. Bird, bird cannot fly if penguin bird is there, right? We are overriding the virtual class, but it can't fly, right? Here you can see public void fly, sparrow, I fly, public void fly, console dot fly. Yes, it will fly. Public class penguin, public void swim, and console.readline swimming. So no force behavior, right? So this is the way we can do it. So this is the Liskov substitution principle. In the Liskov substitution principle, we can and we should create the interface. That interface should be replaced properly with the interface segregation. What we are doing, we are not creating the big interface. In that interface, you can see two work and e2 methods are there in a single interface. Whenever we will call interface, then sometimes robot don't, if we our class is robot and we are inheriting that interface, then work will work for the robot, but it will not work for robot. So interface segregation, we need to create all the interfaces small. Not we have to create the big interface. So for that we can use interface I work, void work, interface I eat, void it. For the class human, I work, I eat, and public void work, public void eat. Here we are for the human, both will work, but for the robot, public robot, I work only and it will work for that one. So here is the interface segregation. Interface segregation is very simple. In that only we have to create the small interface, not we have to create the big interface. Liskus substitution. In the Liskus substitution, parent class should not be. You can see the email class, email service, public send notification, public send email, notification void, public void notification, send dot email. This is the list substitute. But here you can see in the good example, iMessage service, public void send email service, iMessage service, public void send console dot email send notification, public void iMessage service, public notification, message dot service, service dot service, I notification, send dot service dot send. So what exactly it is? Here you can see uh, we are using iMessage service. In the iMessage service, whenever we are inheriting that iMessage service, in email service, we are using that because we need to send the email. For the notification, what we are doing in that notification, we are using that only the service, right? And to send notify, we are creating another. This is the interface segregation. We should create the interface so that it can be. We are talking about the D. D means dependency inversion principle. Dependency inversion principle is the a class should be depend upon a big class should be depend upon the abstraction, right? And here you can see a class email service public void send notification. In that we are inheriting that class public email service void notify email dot send. Whereas what we are saying that dependency inversion principle, we should a big class should be depend upon the uh, interfaces, right? Abstract classes are there. So here you can see I message service send public class email service. We inheriting the service public void send console dot email, right? So this is the method which we are inheriting from here. Same if we want that abstract class we inherited here. There's no need to say, there's no need to use that here as well, right? In the class notification, iMessage service notification, send that notification from here as well. Service, right? Because that service, iMessage service are there and send message we are using and public void notify service dot send. Right. So this is the way we can use a big class should be depend upon the abstract class. Now, here is the solid principle. A single responsibility principle. Single responsibility plus principle is a one class should have one responsibility. Open close, open for extension, close for the modification, list the substitution. A child must behave like the parent. Means a child class can be replaced by the parent class without changing the behavior. And in interface segregation is we should create the small interface, not big interface. Dependency inversion principle, dependency inversion, a big class will depend on the abstraction, not interface. So this is the complete solid principle. Let's discuss once again. What is the single responsibility principle? Single responsibility principle class should have only one reason to change, right? Only one, a class should have only one responsibility, not more than. Let's revise. So, what is the solid principle? Solid principle is the single responsibility principle. A class should have only one responsibility, not only one responsibility, not more than one. That is the single responsibility principle. Open close system. Open close principle is the software should be open for extension, closed for modification. Liskov substitution principle. A class should have only parent class should be replaced by the class should be able to replace the object of the parent class without changing the functionality of programs. Interface segregation, interface segregation means a class should create not big interface. In place of big interface, we should prefer a small interface over a big interface. Dependency inversion principle, high level modules should be depend upon the abstraction, not the concrete implementation. Right? Again, I can tell you a single responsibility means a class should have only one responsibility, not more than one. Open for extension, close for modification, list of substitution. A child class should be able to replace the object of the parent class without breaking the functionality. Interface here, a class should be not create the big interface, should be create a small interface. Dependency in which a high level module should be depend upon the abstraction, not concrete implementation. Here is the principle. Two methods are there in a single class. We should segregate to single before in class. Each class have only one responsibility. Open for extension, close for modifications. For that, you can see we can create the different discount. So create a discount interface and see that will be so that the open for extension, close for the modification. We give the example of the shape as well. List the substitution. A child class should be replaced the parent class without breaking the functionality. Interface again, a big interface should be create a small interface. Dependency inversion principle, a class should be depend upon the concrete abstraction, not the concrete class size.